Confirmed on Thursday that casinos will be able to open their doors on May 21st, just ahead of the Memorial Day weekend. Of course, gaming officials say that safety guidelines will be in place, including social distancing and, of course, requirements for frequent cleanings. The mayor of Biloxi, Mississippi, says the move will help revive the state's economy.
You know, you look at those 12,000 jobs. I don't know how many will come right off the rattle, but the opportunity that spins along with the economy in the gaming industry will be important, and allow us to get to some steps towards normalcy.
Some of the casinos are placing plexiglass partitions between slot machines and limiting the number of customers at the tables. They're also providing protective equipment for the employees and will offer face masks for customers and employees as well. Now, several regions in New York are...
Large sections of central and northern New York State can start to reopen today in the first phase of the state's easing of coronavirus restrictions. Governor Cuomo announcing in his briefing retail stores will now be allowed to do curbside pickup. Other low-risk businesses like gardening and landscaping can reopen, and other outdoor activities considered low risk will now be permitted. With all critical indicators on the decline, regions of the state will begin phase 1 of reopening. Of the 10 regions in New York, 5 have met all 7 metrics. Those regions include Central New York, Finger Lakes, Mohawk Valley, North County, and the Southern Tier.
We're going to open half the regions in the state today, 5 regions out of 10. They are the regions that meet the numerical criteria.
But much of the rest of the state, including New York City and its suburbs, will have to remain shuttered, unable to meet the state's metrics for phase 1.
Those regions that don't qualify to open today, we're extending what's called the New York Pause Order, which is the close down of services and institutions that have been closed down. If a region hits its benchmark at any time, regardless of the pause order, then that region can open.
The governor outlined requirements for indoor and outdoor construction as well as curbside retail, saying masks are a must.
Patrons must wear a mask, store employees must wear a mask, gloves are preferred, hand sanitizer has to be made available.
Governor Cuomo urging local governments to monitor key metrics daily, making sure businesses are complying with social distancing, monitoring individual compliance, and reacting immediately if they see any change in data. Starting next week, the daily hospitalization rates by region will be posted on the state website. Now, as other states begin to reopen, New York, the original epicenter of the crisis, can hopefully set a positive example if those infection rates remain low. Neighboring states, New Jersey and Connecticut, are set to begin their reopening phases next week. Caitlin Sinclair, One America News, New York.
Truckers take on Washington, D.C., protesting low shipping rates for independent drivers. They've been there for a couple of weeks now. But take a listen here from the White House Rose Garden today. The president acknowledged the sounds of the horns blaring in the distance and took the time to show his support for the industry, and what he's saying is their support for him.
And you hear that outside, that beautiful sound. Those are truckers that are with us all the way. They're protesting in favor of President Trump as opposed to against. There's hundreds of trucks out there, and that's the sign of love, not the sign of your typical protest. So I want to thank our great truckers. They like me and I like them. We're working on something together.
The trucking industry has, of course, been hit very hard during this pandemic. President Trump held an event back in April praising truckers for their role during this pandemic. He called them frontline workers. All right, still to come.